My name is Hikma Smiler, and welcome to my app session. Today we are sort of continuing a conversation from the last time. I didn't just wake up one morning and decide that no, I'm no longer going to conform or do what society expects of me. It didn't just start. It started from somewhere. But then when you get to a point where you actively say no, actively want to say no, the thing is, what you've been conditioned to be, or how you've been conditioned to exist in this lifetime or in this life, it's something that starts even before you were born. So the rules and how each person is supposed to behave has been laid way before you were born. It does not matter your background, it does not matter how you choose to present or what you're even going to be. What matters is, before you were even born, rules have been laid that you just fall into, right? So when you are born and you get to a point where you decide to say, you know what, this is not for me, like this is not my vibe, it's very hard to know anything else. So if you want to change or be something else, or be who you want to be, or however, or find your purpose, or however you want to call it, it's very hard to just switch. You can't just you can't just switch and be like, oh, I don't care about society, I'm doing what I want. No, it starts from somewhere, right? So that's what today's topic is about. Today's topic is existing versus being. If you want to live a fulfilled life, you cannot just exist. Like, existing is, first of all, checking boxes. School, have a baby, get married. School, start a job, get married, have a baby, work till you are the retirement age, and then retire, and then your kids will look after you. Then you die, then there's a funeral, and then you're gone. And then the next person is work. Like, it's like that. You check all these boxes and you move. You don't move. You move on autopilot, because it's school, blah blah blah. So that's the next thing that you're supposed to do, right? That's you existing. Those check boxes are your list of expectations you need to meet. Everybody has a list of expectations they need to meet. Then there's being, right? Being is, first of all, being is equal to me. What I've learned in my journey, being is equal to intentionality. You need to intentionally choose, because think about it, everybody has a choice. Even if you believe you do not have a choice, that is your choice not to believe you have a choice. And I know it sounds crazy, but it took me a very long time to understand that phrase. When you get to a point where you know that you have a choice in this life, like you can actively choose to participate in this life, then why would I choose things without being aware? Why would I choose things on autopilot? Why would I choose to tick boxes that do not make me happy, right? So it's intentionality. Anybody that has chosen to intentionally choose how they want to live their life, at a point in time, go back to themselves, to their own minds, to listen to themselves instead of listening outside themselves. So if you are a person that chooses to be, instead of just existing and living the motions, you actively choose to listen to yourself, because it's very hard to listen to the outside voice and try to listen to yourself at the same time. So you need to choose. You can't do both. You can't listen to what's outside the scene and at the same time listen to yourself. Why do people choose to exist? Again, there's always a choice. Even if you don't think you are choosing, right? And people choose to exist. They find that is the easiest option. Why, why would you choose to be miserable and exist instead of living and all of that? But it's a matter of, as I said earlier, a set of rules were laid down way before you were born, centuries ago. Those rules were set at a different time, way before, a long time ago, when the world was very, very different. Because you can tell the world is changing every time. I mean, there's the past, things have happened in the past that affected everybody around the world. So it keeps changing, right? And it's still changing, and it will continue to change. The only thing constant is change. It will always change. The world will always change. The world will never always be the same. So when people set rules centuries ago for a totally different world, they made a list of categories. There's the gender, there's the race, there's the ethnicity, country, like everything has been set that you fall into a box. There's the middle class, there's the lower class, upper class, everybody has a box, and as soon as you are born, you automatically fall into that box. You don't have any say in that matter. I mean, you don't have any, that's what we believe, that we don't have any say in that matter. Like, you are born, you are born into this family and they are Christians, and you are Christian. No choice. There's nothing you can do about it. And because of those boxes that was set a very long time ago, everybody needs to follow a certain path because of where you were born. That's basically it. And there are sets of things that everybody must do, and not everybody's qualified for according to the rules, right? So if you are born, there's school, because it's not everybody that's qualified to go to school. And it's not even based on the fact that on intelligence level or on the mind level, or no, it's not based on your knowledge level. It's based on the fact that entirely where you were born. Some people are born very intelligent, but they've never been to school because they do not qualify according to the world's rules, right? Some people have never stepped foot, even heard about what a school is. And it's possible that people live in the world that don't even think they would ever go to school at all. Basically, based on the facts where they were born. There's work, right? Even in the schools, there's levels to it, because it's not every school that everybody's qualified to go to. And it's based on where you were born. Work, it's not everybody that's qualified to work, right? And there are levels to this job that you can climb to, or you can go to, that based on where you were born, you can't even pass that level, right? And it's basically based on where you were born. It's marriage, childbirth, old age. It's not everybody that qualifies for these boxes to check. But at the same time, we are all forced to check these boxes, because if you don't check these boxes, then you've not lived. That is where the disconnect is. Because if you've already put me in a situation, in a category where I don't even qualify to go to school, but yet again, the rules of the world say that you need to go to school before you can get a job, before you can do this, but I don't even qualify to go to school, then what are you telling me? If somebody is born to someone like Bill Gates, like, school is nothing, work is nothing on any level at all to them. But at the same time, they'll tell you that they went to school and they worked hard. That's why they are rich. And you and I know that's not how it is. It's purely based on where they were born. At that moment, at the right time, at that right moment, they fell into the perfect category to become rich. And someone didn't. And that is the choice that we are left with. To exist is to live as though someone else was in charge of you, right? So the person will tell you to do A before you can do A, do B before you can do B. You cannot listen to the outside voice telling you to do A and listening to your own mind that tells you to do B. And the funny thing is, people do not know that they can listen to themselves. Like, what you are thinking or how you are living in your mind is really, really different from how someone else is thinking and how they are living. So if you listen from their perspective all the time, if you take in their perspective all the time, you really lose. You don't know your own perspective. You don't listen to yourself. And I believe that being mindful, going inwards, listening to yourself is one of the things that really saved my life, if I want to say it that way, because at a point I isolated for a while. I did not know I was isolating. I recently just realized that that's what I did. Like, I was by myself for a very long time, trying to find myself, doing research, journaling, all of that. Many people believe they do not have a choice. They choose to follow to just exist. Some people are even given a chance to, choose to leave that category, and they still choose to stay because that's all they know. And there's not much that you or someone else can tell them that will change their mind. They believe that someone else is supposed to be in charge of how they move and not just think for themselves. Some people do not think for themselves. They have to follow rules, or they don't know what they are doing. Another reason people choose to just exist is many people are afraid. Fear is one of the most important tools to control anything. If you put fear in whatever you want to control, perfect. People are afraid of what they do not know. People are afraid of something that's different, something that's weird. Why are you not dressed a certain way? Why do you look a certain way? Why do you look like that? You're supposed to look like this. Like, why are you not in that category? You're supposed to be like this, do like that. People are afraid of change, even though change is constantly happening around us. Afraid of the weird stuff. It's fear that keeps people from fully living. But one thing that I have also learned in my journey is fear is also a choice. You choose to be afraid. Because tell me why, if you see a man in a skirt, you clutch your pearls and get scared. Like, literally, what is the skirt going to do to you? Like, you decide to be afraid of it, because if you think about it, there's nothing to be afraid of unless the thing is directly threatening you. What's there to be afraid of? If someone comes stand in front of you with a gun, I mean, I get it. It's scary. That is scary. But if I'm if I'm on TikTok and I see a man in a skirt, I don't know what the person is coming to do to me, to be honest, through the phone. I mean, come on, guys. Think about it. So let's talk about how I consciously shifted from existing to being. To be or being is intentionality. I said earlier, you intentionally decide that nope, I do not fall into any of these categories. I do not want to fall into a category. You tell me that because I was born this way, I'm supposed to behave this way till I die. But when you intentionally choose to be and not just exist, you decide that none of these categories is fit for me. I do not think I'm supposed to fall into this category, because this path that this category leads is really not for me. When I clocked that I could say no to certain things, I had to learn how to say no. Most of the things in your brain, you can't unlearn it. I do not believe in unlearning. We talk about learn and unlearn and relearn. I don't think you can unlearn anything. can you unlearn how to ride a bicycle? Can you? No, you know how to ride a bicycle. You know, you could probably do skills on the bike and stuff. So can you unlearn it? No. So I just learned how to keep all of the things that I've soaked throughout my life and try and turn it, you know, into something that will benefit me. I knew that I had a choice. It's very few people that know that they have a choice. I knew I had a choice to say no, and I knew I had a choice to live how I want to live. Another thing is you have to be aware of your thoughts. You don't just think mindlessly, because if you leave your thought to run, then you are not in control of what you think about, and that is really dangerous to you, because your brain soaks in everything that it sees, right? If it soaks other perspectives too much, it begins to distort your own perspective. So you have to be mentally aware that, hey, I'm thinking this thing that I'm thinking, is it going to benefit me? Be aware of your thoughts. I am always trying very hard to shift my thoughts. So when I say something, I'm quick to correct myself. The most important thing is when you're alone by yourself in bed about to sleep in the dark, right? And if you sleep with lights on. Anyway, in the dark, when you're about to sleep, when you're alone with your thoughts, what do you think about, right? It's very important to gauge your thought. Don't run away from your thoughts, because your thoughts are not going anywhere. They're in your head. If you run away, they will catch up, right? No matter, you can't run faster than your thoughts. So you need to arrange the thoughts and think in ways that would benefit you in your health, in your surroundings, how you feel about your body, because it's very important. You will see somebody who is not looking like the way society expects them to look, and they are very happy, and you'll be wondering why are they happy when, you know, people are hating on them and everything. It's because they are aware of their thoughts, and they've made sure that whatever people see that make them laugh at them, they've made sure to block that thought, right? So they intentionally don't see what you're doing. Like, you will laugh, but it doesn't really affect them, because in the long run, the most important thing to them is what they think about themselves. And if they think it's fine, your laughter means nothing, and that's the best way to live. People, I mean, you have women on social media that are being ganged on all the time, and they are still posting pictures, and they are still happy, because ultimately your thoughts or how you think of them doesn't really resonate in their world. The most important thing is how they see themselves. And it's very important that if you are aware of how you think, if you're not always judging yourself, talking down on yourself, you always make sure that even if you are talking down on yourself, you be like, you know what, sometimes it's okay to feel this way, let me just get back up. And also being aware of how you feel. I also learned that I forget emotions easily. I don't remember how I felt about something. I'll try and remember what the thought is like, but I don't really remember how I felt. So I actually started trying to feel in the moment. So if I'm happy, I acknowledge that I am happy. If I'm sad, I say it. If you know me, I always say I enjoy crying, because, you know, crying is fun. I mean, I don't always associate crying with negative, because if you have a good cry session, the sleep after slaps. It slaps. I mean, and it's a choice I made to see crying like that, because I've had moments where it's very hard for me and I have cried, but I always feel like after every crying session I feel good. So I, be aware of the actions you take as a human being. You can't do things and just say you were not thinking about it when you were doing it. That's not how that is just a way to exist. If you want to be present in the moment, you need to think about the actions you're about to take, the words you're about to say to the next person, how it's going to make them feel, right? The the hot pot that you are carrying from the fire, right? If it slips, how you will get burnt, right? So you need to, because you know you don't mindlessly just pick it up and then drop it. No, you need to be aware that you're picking up the pot that is hot. You need to be aware of the actions that you're taking every single time. You need to be aware all the time. Apart from observing yourself and observing how you feel and being aware, you need to observe your surroundings. You need to observe the colors around you. You need to observe the objects around you. You need to know that this is here and this is there. And learn from your observation. Like when you see something, you learn from it. And it can be anything at all. That's why I love people that take pictures of random things. You see, someone's camera is just sky or flowers or a little bug or something, anything. It's how you coexist with your surroundings. You need to observe and learn from your observation. And also unclench your jaw. I learned this thing that I didn't even know I used to do it. When you're not doing anything, when you're scrolling through your phone, sometimes your jaw is clenched and your forehead or your shoulders are tensed and your forehead is like this and you're doing that. Just when you're aware of your surroundings, you are aware that you are doing that, you just release it and you will feel, it's like every time I do that, I feel like a burden has been lifted off my shoulders. Like some problem somewhere has been solved. That's how it feels like you are just there. I'll be scrolling through it and I realize that I've clenched my jaw, so I just release intentionally, and then you feel your face relax, your shoulders will relax, and then you breathe. And then breathing is so important. Breathe. It's some things I do randomly. Like I would randomly just breathe in through my nose and through my mouth. It settles you, it grounds you, you see your surroundings, you observe. Anytime you feel you're about to do something and you start to feel anxious, you breathe and then you observe, you look at the colors around you and count stuff around you. And it's crazy how quickly you relax when you do stuff like that. And those things are things that we can do easily, but the issue is remembering to do them. That's why it's very important to be intentional when you want to move from a certain point to a certain point. And this from existing to being. And this cuts across every category that the world has created for us human beings to live under. It cuts across everything. You could be anyone and anything at all and can go through these steps and more. There are so many steps that you could do, but these are the things that I believe I followed, and most of it was unintentional till I intentionally started noticing them and thinking about them and trying to live them, that I knew what I was doing for myself. Society has made it nearly impossible to do things if you decide to move outside of the categories. If you decide not to follow the categories, it has made it like it has become like a cage, right? And it's very, very important to always question why things are the way they are, why we are conditioned the way we are conditioned to think a certain way, why that when we see a certain group of people, we immediately feel fear. Why? It is important to ask the questions. Ask till you get to the root of the problem. And another thing is, do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel good, because you're going to be in this life by yourself. I mean, you are with other people, but ultimately you are living for yourself, and you have to do what makes you feel good. I feel like the more you do things that makes your heart feel good, that makes your body feel nice, you live a fulfilled life. Like you make yourself happy, like you are living.